In this video, I'm going to walk you through lesson 4 of unit P1. So in lesson 3, we ended with an exit ticket talking about what do we need to know about energy production to help us figure out what happened in Texas. And so we're going to navigate into this lesson by, first of all, looking at a map of the Texas power stations. And so you can see that there are a variety of different energy sources. And so this is the first introduction to the fact that energy production doesn't just come from one place, it comes from all of these different places. And so we look for some patterns, and we are going to see that it looks like solar power. There's quite a few of those. We have a lot of natural gas power is the blue. So we're just kind of looking for patterns, a lot of wind power, and we're trying to think about how could any of these have contributed to the power outage. Then we're going to get these source cards, and they are printed out. And if you have a kit, they should be in the kit for you to already have prepared to pass out to groups. And students are going to sort these cards. They're going to read through them and sort them. And here's some energy diagrams that go with it. And they're going to sort them based on what they think is the most reliable. And they're also going to take some notes as everybody sorts their cards and lays them out. We're going to do a gallery walk. And we're going to look at the choices other groups made about how they ranked them. And then we're going to try to think of and take some notes about what factors we think each group used to make their decisions. Now, all of this comes back together in a discussion where we co-develop the definition for reliability. We have a discussion about what is reliability, and all of the ideas that students share about what it means to be reliable is recorded on a chart. The chart is simply just a title that you're going to add student ideas on. And we're thinking about, like, what is reliability and why would it be an important criterion for making decisions about energy? So we analyze a graph or two graphs on the electricity production 2021 handout. And we're going to look, we've seen this graph before. This is the electricity production with that big dip in that week. And we're going to look now at through a different lens. Let me make this a little bigger here. We're going to look now at a different lens as to which energy production maybe had some type of pattern that could give us some ideas about what happened. So we look at, the amount of nuclear energy that contributed to this, the amount of coal that contributed to this amount of energy during this time. Looks like natural gas is a pretty big source of energy here, and wind has a little bit of energy, but the drop is pretty clear in the natural gas. But then we go on and we compare this data from 2020 with a new partner, and we record some patterns on a T-chart. So in students' notebooks, they're going to set up a T-chart, and they're going to compare the 2020 data to the 2021 data, and we're going to record some patterns we notice for each month. And also how the patterns in February 2021 are different from the patterns of February 2020 when there was no crisis. And so this is the graphs that we already looked at. And then this is also a little different view. We're looking at that electricity production using a line graphs. And then we're going to discuss the patterns as a class. And we're going to think about how the patterns are different and how this helps us understand what may have contributed to the crisis. And what they should be figuring out is that gas, there's a lot of energy being produced by gas, and it takes quite a dip. So when that energy crisis happens, something might have happened to the gas production, and we re-rank our energy source cards because it looked like nuclear power was pretty reliable. But gas didn't seem to be quite as reliable. So we re-rank our cards, and we introduce what's called a decision matrix. Now, this is what we use in engineering to make decisions on solutions that we want to use, and criteria are put up here at the top row. This is going to be where we list different energy sources. So you'll put nuclear and coal and wind down here. And the first criterion we are going to establish together, and that's going to be reliability. And then students are going to choose their own criterion for number 2 and 3. And maybe something you could suggest is like high efficiency. And so we're going to use this thinking about later when we design our own electrical system or grid for our community that's reliable. This is going to help us make decisions on what types of energy sources to include in our design solution. And that's about it. Here's an example of the criterion that you're going to add. We do this one as a group, and then we have students try to talk about and what will they add as the other ones. So that's it for lesson 4, pretty low prep. I'll talk about that in the next video, but we're pushing towards that design solution, thinking about reliability of energy sources. All right.